I'm meteorologist Paul Wetzel.
And I'm meteorologist Ryan Halicki, and this is another update that we want to give you on the winter storm we're tracking going into Saturday.
Yeah, one of the things we're looking into, we're about 3 days out from this storm hitting Saturday. We did an update yesterday. We want to do another one tonight because there have been some things that have changed for us.
As we have some new model data coming in, some new information on the storm. We're starting to see the storm showing up in some of the short-range models, and those are the ones that we'll start updating too. We'll get more frequent updates on it, and this is a look at what we're looking at as it stands right now, how we expect it to start.
Yeah, and we've been looking at Saturday afternoon as being the biggest impact time of the storm, starting and moving on in, getting the heavier snow on into Saturday evening, Saturday night, then on into Sunday morning. But some of the newer models, we're looking at some of the shorter range, trying to back that snow up maybe a few hours on Saturday.
And that's what we'll be watching, is the timing on when this starts. Now, we expect a start time to be Saturday, at least mid to late morning, and then going through the afternoon, we really see that beginning to ramp up. And the peak of this is going to be Saturday night. As we move through Saturday night into early Sunday morning, that's when we expect to see the heaviest snow, and this lingers into Sunday.
Yeah, and the problem will also become the cold temperatures. We'll talk about that with the wind chills coming up and the blowing snow too, because this will initially start as a heavier, wetter snow, and that's part of the problem in the equation of the storm this weekend is the warmer temperatures trying to push in to cause a little rain or freezing rain that may cut down on those snow totals, right?
And that's the thing that we've been keeping an eye on in the model data, is that where that rain snow line goes. That's number one. That's crucial in just how much of the snow accumulation that we see in the range there, but it's also important in terms of just overall travel impacts too. So we'll start here. This is the first model we want to walk you through. This is new data coming in. This is one of our short range models. It's the NAM model, and this just now getting to the point where that storm starts to show up in it. So you see it's showing that snow around early in the morning, and then as we head into the afternoon, you start seeing that ramping up here, and especially into the evening, this model showing that little bit of a bullseye here. What you don't see on this model is that rain snow line very close by.
And the other model that we're going to show after this does show that, but one thing that this model is showing for us is it's running right in line in comparison with the amount of snow we're expecting that these other models are showing. So into Saturday afternoon, not expecting a whole lot of snow, but that changes quickly when we start talking 3 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Look at these snow totals. We jump very rapidly into that 3 to 6 inch range on into Saturday evening. Then it jumps on up into the 7 and 8 inch range by the time we head into midnight. Now this model is a shorter range model, only goes out to about midnight Saturday. So we'll fast forward to the other model we're looking at, right?
And that's what we'll be talking about too as we look at the other model data coming in here, is the consistency. You see these numbers. This is a very impactful snow that the model's showing there, and that's what we're seeing across the board on all of our model data. So that's one of the things that gives us a little bit more confidence as we start looking at our range of accumulation. Now, we move into this model. This is the GFS, and what it's showing, again, that snow developing late morning into the afternoon. This is a pause here at noon, and you start seeing that snow pushing in. Now, this is the model that has been a little bit more aggressive with that rain snow line. You see that just over my shoulder here, this pink shade, that is the mix of rain and snow, and then you see the green here, that is the rain. Now notice that does impact Columbiana County. It shows that change over to rain before on the backside of it, we see that cold air wrapping in, we go back to snow. That would add some additional accumulation on the backside, but that change over to rain would really impact the accumulations.
And it will, to pull them down, but even with that, still talking about some significant snow across the area. In fact, here's a quick look at the GFS output on into our Saturday evening and early Sunday morning, and you'll notice those lower totals where that rain is trying to push in with this model, but on the northern fringe up into parts of Trumbull and Mercer counties getting a better chance of some heavier snow. The one model that's been fairly consistent is the European model with this. It's keeping that rain snow line further to our south, and today's run has actually done something even a little different. It's dropped the storm further south, trying to lower those snow totals areas, not lower the totals of the snow, but actually lower the significant snow further south, right?
And this was a change that we started to see late last night as that model run comes in after midnight, after we leave for the evening. We started seeing that trend, and it held on to it for the run that has come in earlier in the day. And what you notice here, you don't see that rain snow line. You see that heavier swath of snow snow. This particular model scenario would lead us into the higher end of our accumulation ranges. Seeing all snow across the area would really ramp up those totals, and you see it continues with that heavier snow going into Sunday morning before wrapping this up on the backside when we start to see things quieting down into Sunday evening. So accumulations with this, as you see, they're much higher.
Yeah, and pushing into the teens, and that's kind of where we're expecting. So the one big problem with this storm is how much rain is going to mix in with it. We keep talking about the track, but a lot of it has to do with the amount of warm air with that track that it pulls in to cut these snow totals down. So our ranges haven't changed a whole lot since yesterday. We're still looking at generally 7 to 10 inches of total snowfall into this weekend, but the big question is, will that warm air ride in? And if it does, definitely on the lower end, but probably the best chance of that is south of Youngstown.
And that's what we'll be looking at, especially into Columbiana County, southern Columbiana County. That's the best chance at ending up on the lower end of this scale here, where you see that 3 to 6 inch range. Now, this very well could play out as starts off as snow, a transition over to a little bit of rain, then going back to snow as that cold Arctic air moves on the backside. So we still expect to see some snow.
Absolutely.
It's the amount that's in question. And then on the higher end, you see that's I would expect the best chance of seeing that through northern Trumbull, northern Mercer, farther from that warm core in the storm.
That's right. The further you get away from that chance of that mix over into the system. So still uncertainty in the exact amount, but this gives you a good idea of what we're looking at. Either way, it is going to bring problems in travel plans on into Saturday evening, into Saturday night. Here's the other story of the system, the wind that is going to pick up too as we get into Saturday night and Sunday morning. Those gusts getting up to 30 miles per hour or higher through the day on Sunday. And keep in mind the temperature keeps falling so that snow gets lighter and fluffier, and we're going to get into more blowing and drifting snow, Ryan.
And that's one of the issues that we'll see with this storm. It's going to be first that heavy wet snow. It's going to take road crews a lot of time to clear all of that off. They're going to have to focus on the main roads first. Then when we start to see that wind picking up and the temperature falling, once they've cleared some roads, that could blow snow back over them. And so we're going to be looking at slick roads, not just for Saturday evening, but really through a large part of Sunday, and that could carry over into early Monday with that wind.
And those north winds blowing back into the area on Sunday also will drive in lake effect snow showers. So we'll fire up some lake effect later Sunday and especially into Sunday night. The other big story, the temperatures, will be up close to 30 on Saturday, but Sunday we start in the middle teens. And it doesn't get a whole lot better. The actual air temperatures, these are not wind chill temperatures. Air temperatures dropping into the single digits on into Sunday evening and Sunday night. In fact, we'll drop close to 0 by Monday morning, and that doesn't include the wind chill, right?
This is the coldest air mass that we've seen so far this winter. And then when you start factoring in those wind chills, by morning you start seeing the wind chills dropping to around 0. And as we go into the afternoon, you start seeing those below 0 wind chills. We expect to see that continuing into Sunday evening and overnight into early Monday. Wind chills as cold as perhaps 10 to 15 below at times with the gusty conditions and that blowing snow around. So really, it's
frigid air.
It's not going to feel very nice here as we wrap up the weekend and head to the start.
A rough weekend ahead, and we've been talking about this storm for quite some time here, and we're going to continue to monitor it as we go through the week. We're doing these updates each night, and of course we're tracking it all day long as well, but we wanted to give you an idea of what we're looking at here. Several things to keep in mind this weekend. Heavy wet snow changes to fluffier snow on into Sunday, but the problem is the blowing and drifting snow, and then of course that heavy snow causing travel problems, especially Saturday evening and Saturday night, right?
And with the wind picking up on top of that heavy snow sitting on those tree branches, that's also going to lead to a concern that we could see some sporadic power outages coming into early Sunday with that cold in place. We're going to have to give the road crews time to clear things out. So, I mean, this is going to be a high impact system for us and something that we're going to be continuing to not just watch in the model data, but we're going to be tracking it through the weekend as well.
And watch those cold temperatures right into early next week. So I just wanted to give you a quick update here this evening, kind of what we're looking at here in the Weather Center. We'll continue to monitor these models, the newer ones as they come in, and we'll have another one of these for you tomorrow night. Of course, we're getting into the shorter range models, so that'll help us out with the accuracy of the amount of snow we're expecting as we get on into this weekend.
And we'll see that new data coming in as well. So we'll be going through that, digging through that over the next 24 hours, and we will see you for another update on Thursday.